Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take you through how to build a set of lungs. So for this, you need a 2 liter, which I've already cut the bottom part of it off. So taking a look, you can see the bottom of it is empty. Okay. I also cleaned it off, took the paper off so you can see inside of it. You need a piece of plastic, ideally cut into about a circle. 2 balloons. You need at least 2 straws, some yarn, clay, and at least 1 rubber band. Ideally, use one of the bigger ones, but we're going to try with these little ones because that's what we have available. All right, so steps to do this. We have a few things that you need to do. So one, we're going to take the piece of plastic, and in the center of it, we're going to just pull up a little tiny piece of it like this. We're going to take our yarn, and we're going to tie it around there. All right, and we'll see why later on when we figure out what part this is when we build our lungs. So the sister's going to go ahead and get that done. While she's doing that and tying those off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 straws. I'm going to cut them down a little. So one, I don't need one that's this long. That's really a long straw. So I'm going to cut it down a little, maybe cut a couple inches off. I want it to be about 8 inches long. Okay. So after I cut this part off, let's cut the top off a little bit. I'm also going to take this part right here, and I'm going to cut into the middle of the straw, cutting about halfway through it. Okay. Now the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to take this other straw, and I'm going to slide part of it inside of it so that when I put them together, we'll have these 2 pieces that are sticking out of the end. All right, now you can see Miss Sitzer has already gone through. She has it all attached. It's tied together nicely. All right, good and strong at the bottom. Now, I've already gone through as well. I've got my pieces put together, so I've put 1 straw inside of the other one. So since I'm the only one who's going to be touching this, I could check it and make sure it works. I could blow through it, and I can feel air coming out of both holes, okay? So that's kind of important. All right, next step. The next step is we're going to take this piece right here, your straws, and it's going to come up and inside like this, so that the top part is sticking out. Now, if you just leave it like that, it's going to fall. So that's where our clay comes in. So we're going to take the clay and jam it in here to hold this straw in place. That's our next step. All right, want to try that?
Sure.
Now, when you're working with clay, you normally want to soften it up, roll it around a little, because clay is a lot harder than Play-Doh. So the more you work it, the easier it'll become to move around. Now, there is one other quick step because I already forgot. So while she's getting that ready, I've got to take my balloons and attach them to the end of each of these straws. I want to do that now before she gets it stuck inside, because once it's stuck inside, it's going to be really hard to do.
My hands won't fit.
Right. So when I put this in, I don't want to just barely put in a little. Make sure the straw is going down into it so that the end of the straw is in the middle of this. Otherwise, it'll kink up. And then all we're going to do is take a little piece of tape and wrap it up tight so that this balloon is airtight on there so the air isn't escaping out of the side. So we're going to get that done and we'll be right back. All right, so we've got our balloons attached. We have it airtight so the air will come out. And if I blow in it, you can see the air does make it into both balloons. All right, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we'll go ahead, try and get the balloons about in the middle of this. Now when you put this in, you want to make sure you don't squeeze the straw closed. You just want to make sure everything's kind of airtight. But you want to make sure that the straw is still open. All right. So if you notice, she looked down through it just to make sure that she could see all the way through it. All right, and we're almost done. We almost have everything built. So our last step, this is the hardest step. It's the part everyone always struggles with. You have to get this piece right here to attach to the bottom part right here. And you want it to be as tight as possible. So this is why it's nice to have an extra person. So we're going to take the rubber band to wrap it around it, and we're going to put that on there. So we'll have one person hold it, the other person's going to try and finagle it on. This may take a minute, so we'll show you what it looks like in a second. All right, went way faster having 2 adults doing this instead of having 4 fifth graders do it. All right, so taking a look, we rubber band this on, and then Miss Sitzer and I, while holding it, we tried to tighten it up because we want this bottom part to be as tight as we can. It's not perfect because this piece of plastic. It's kind of getting pretty old and beat up. All right, now taking a look at it, let's go through and think about what all of these parts are. So when we look at this, okay, this piece right here represents your trachea. So the air should be flowing down through the trachea, okay? When it gets down here, it's going to go across into the bronchi, okay? So it separates apart into the different bronchi, and then it goes into the pink balloons, which is representing our lungs. Now, the other pieces, this bottom part that's along the bottom, that's going to flex down and up and down and up, that's your diaphragm. So that's that muscle running across here that when it pulls down, it causes your lungs to expand. And when those expand, it sucks air in. That's your breathing. And then when we release it, the balloon should contract back up, causing the air to come back out through your trachea. So we take a look and see if it works. Okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice how that works? Every time your diaphragm flexes and comes down, the air gets sucked into your lungs. Okay? So that is a pretty good model of what's happening in your actual lungs. So you may want to go back and rewatch this, write down a couple quick notes about how this works, and we'll take a look at it again on Monday just to see how this worked. All right? Hope that helps understand the respiratory system, and have a great weekend.